Time to hang out with my sister girl. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Sister Girl on Films, and we are back with episode 2 and 3 recap and review of House of Villains. Now, listen, y'all. Last week, I totally forgot to record my review and recap of episode 2. Like, the folks over on Patreon, they got behind the scenes. Like, they actually saw, like, they can vouch for your girl, okay? They saw me watch the show. We watched it together. I was taking notes, all the things. So they can vouch for me. Your girl was, like, preparing herself to do this video. And then I forgot to do the video. I don't know what was happening with me this past week. I don't know how it slipped my mind, but I looked up and was like, oh, I did not record my House of Villains episode 2 recap. So I'm going to briefly do a quick run through of what happened on episode 2, and then we're going to get into the good stuff of episode 3, because quiet is kept and loud as it is, episode 2 was kind of boring anyway. So, you know, it may have been for the best. But let's go ahead and get into episode 2 of House of Villains. So episode 1 left us with like a little cliffhanger, a big cliffhanger. And all we know was that Shake, Corinne, and Jax were up for elimination. And so all of them are kind of nervous about, you know, what does this mean? Am I going to go home? Because all of them in their own little separate way had a little bit of beef with Omarosa. But see, the caveat to being the villain of the week is that when it comes to final eliminations, you don't have a say. Child, I don't know if Omarosa knew that, but that definitely took her out of the position of being like a main influence in deciding who gets to go home. Even though she tried, it, you know, it kind of worked, it didn't kind of work. But she basically told Shake the reason she put him up for elimination is because, you know, he was being too on the fence for her. You know, either shit or get off the pot. He wasn't doing either, and so she couldn't trust it, so she put him up for elimination. And so at that point, Shake realized that, like, okay, this is a whole type of game, and I gotta be more intentional with the things I do in this game, because otherwise I could go home. Jax is confused because he's like, oh my God, I mean, I think I just came into this game too hot. People are looking at me like I'm a big target. And then he starts talking to Shake about how much money him and his wife make. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And Shake is like, well, do you really need to be here? And I'm thinking the same thing, like, oh, well, why are you on this damn show? So that kind of put a bad taste in Shake's mouth, and he's like, I'm not feeling this guy. So Shake is kind of on a mission to make Jax look pretty bad in front of the other people. And so at one point, Shake is in the bathroom talking to Bobby Lights and telling him what Jax told him. And Jax is like right outside the bathroom, and he's like, so what's going on, bro? You're talking about me? And Shake was like, oh, hey, how long you been standing there? Shake. Bobby Light said it right. He said, damn, if you're going to be talking about somebody, make sure they ain't nearby to overhear. Exactly. Or just say it to them in front of them. Like, if you're going to run the risk of being caught, then shit, just man up and say it to his face. You know what I'm saying? Jax and Shake kind of get into like a little argument in the hot tub. And so Jax is like, man, if I ever see you out in LA, I'm going to risk going back to jail for you. Oh, I'm so mad and I'm seeing red and all this other stuff. And I'm like, are you sure you went to therapy? Because it's not giving I went to therapy. It's giving I went straight from Vanderpump Rules just to live in my everyday life. And it looks like that was part of Shake's plan to get everybody kind of side-eyeing Jax, because Shake was like, that kind of played right into my plans of what I wanted to happen. So Shake might have a little bit of strategy under his belt after all. And then so apparently, like, each week there's going to be like a notable, like, modern day, like, villain that's going to come talk to the cast and give them some sort of wisdom. And this week, or for episode 2, it was Carol Baskins. And Tanisha was just over the moons about her. It was like, oh, Carol Baskins, she was that girl. They were slinging mud at her and she wasn't paying it no attention yet. I'm like, wasn't Carol Baskins, like, allegedly, didn't she also kill somebody? Ain't that what they said she did too? And she, like, her ex-husband or something, and she fed him to the tigers? I don't know, allegedly, but I thought that's what they had said about that lady. But she gave them some sort of advice, child. I don't even know what the hell the lady was talking about, but either way, whatever, they got something from it, I guess. So the redemption challenge for this week is called Blind Trust. Now, y'all remember with the Redemption Challenge, the 3 people that are up for elimination have a chance to win immunity from going home. So each villain has to pick a partner, and that partner has to guide them through this like small little mini course while they drive a golf cart with a blindfold on. And so Shake chooses Johnny Bananas, and Johnny Bananas is like, I mean, I could sabotage, but I'm gonna play it low since this is only like our first like elimination, which is a good strategy. So Shake picks Johnny Bananas and they do pretty good. Corinne ends up picking Bobby Lights. Now I thought she was gonna pick New York. And I was like, oh, New York gonna have a little bit of an attitude, honey. And so she picked Bobby Lights. I'm like, 2 dingbats together. Like, what do y'all think was gonna happen? So they struggled or whatever. It wasn't looking too good. And I'm thinking, girl, you're definitely gonna be up for elimination still after that mess. And then Jax picks Johnny Fairplay. Of all the people in the house, you picked Johnny Fairplay, like the most notable villainous person in the house. And so, as one would suspect, Johnny Fairplay clearly, plain as day, sabotaged Jax. He telling him to go left. This fool once said, go straight right. What the hell is a straight right? Johnny, what is that? He had him taking big loop-de-loop circles, all kind of mess, honey. So, needless to say, Jax and Corinne are both still up for elimination, and Shake is safe. And so we get to the elimination room, and nothing. We still don't know who got eliminated. Like, why did we drag this out for 2 full episodes? I think the show is only like maybe 10 episodes. Y'all don't have time to waste. Y'all got to get to it. So that's a quick little rundown of what happened on episode 2. Like I said, it wasn't a whole lot of nothing. So it was probably good that I didn't review it last week. But let's go ahead and get into episode 3. So episode 3 picks right back up in the elimination room. Now listen, I forgot to mention, at the end of episode 2, New York, out of left field, calls Jax a demon and said he was evil and possessed. And Jax is all emotional and crying. I thought I was a good Christian father. I ain't never had nobody call me a demon ever. Like, first of all, New York, what the hell is you talking about? Like, what did this man do that we didn't see that felt demonic to you? I mean, he's arrogant as hell, but demon, it wasn't given that, okay? And then also, Jax, why are you fake crying? Man up, toughen up. Somebody called you a demon. Let this shit go. If you a Christian father, then you should be all right and be like, girl, what are you talking about? And moving on to the next one. So Jax was all in his feelings at the end of episode 2. So episode 3, finally, we get a reveal of the votes. Now, mind you, okay, our girl Tanisha had talked to Jax and basically reassured him that he's safe as long as she's good with him, he's good with her. She's not gonna put him up for elimination. Basically, in Jax's mind, Tanisha's vote is in the bag and they basically have an alliance now. But baby, Joel, he says, all right, well, the vote was unanimous. I said, oh, well, shit. And Jax is eliminated. I said, oh, okay, so Tanisha's really playing this game. And Tanisha was like, you know, Jax was my boy, but I don't know. I felt like he's too much of competition for me and he has to go. So Jax gets flung through the wall and he is eliminated. Bye, Jax. Child, you will not be missed. Let me tell you what. And so after the elimination, all the villains are like gathered around in like the living room and on Omarosa. And let me say this lady's name the proper way, because the last episode, child, I was tearing it up. I'm sorry, Omarosa. I'm sorry, girl. So Omarosa goes up to Corinne and she was like, well, congratulations. Honestly, I really wanted you to go. But I'm glad you stayed. I'm like, Omarosa. Leave that girl alone. You know she's emotionally unhinged, child. Leave that girl alone. And so everybody's just kind of decompressing at the elimination, talking and gathering. And New York decides to go up to her room, says she's not feeling well. She's just kind of tired. And she's going to go ahead and just call it a night. See, I feel like, listen, I personally feel like New York thought she was going to come in that house and be like the biggest name there, the biggest personality, all the things. And you have the likes of Omarosa, Tanisha, Johnny Bananas, Bobby Lights, all these other people. And I don't think she really feel like she can step up to the plate. So I feel like this time she's like trying to figure out how she's going to like bring out that inner New York, and she's just trying to like strategize. That's my thought on why New York is acting so funny style. But she's laying down, and Corinne goes and talks to her, and she's like, are you gonna come back down? And New York is like, no, I'm just gonna lay in here, I'm not feeling too well. And Corinne is like, okay, well, I'm gonna come check on you, you know, make sure you're okay. Corinne is kind of sweet, I guess. I'm saying that for now. She seemed kind of sweet. I'm side-eyeing it, but okay, girl. So Corinne goes in and talks to Johnny Bananas because y'all know she got a little crush on him. So he's playing a little guitar, and he's talking about how he's just tired of being downstairs because everybody's just too fucking loud and it's just too much going on. Everybody's just getting on his nerves. And New York,
Constant, loud. Eagles fly alone, pigeons flock together.
New York overhears that and was like, in the confessional, I heard Johnny Bananas say he cannot stand me. He called me loud and stupid.
He was upstairs telling someone she's loud. I really don't like her.
I don't like New York.
Girl, what is you talking about? No, that man didn't. He said nothing of the sort. Nothing even remotely close to that. He didn't say nobody's name. He just said everybody was getting on his damn nerves. Everybody was acting stupid. Everybody was being loud. But for whatever reason, New York took that as a personal attack from Johnny Bananas. So Johnny and Corinne go back downstairs to everybody, and they just kind of hanging and talking. And so Bobby Light's loud self is like, where's New York? And they're like yelling her name. So she gets up, she comes downstairs, and immediately she was like, I heard you, talking to Johnny Bananas, I heard you say that you did not like me. You said I do not like New York. She is loud and she is stupid. And Bobby was like, oh, you said that?
I just want to say, I heard you said pigeons flock together, eagles fly alone. I don't like New York.
Oh my God, you said that too. You said that.
Child, Bobby Lights, something else. I didn't even talk about how he was acting fake drunk last episode, but let's move on, child. I'm sure it'll come up again. And so Johnny was like, what are you talking about? I did not say that. Yes, you did. I overheard you. I heard everything you said. And Corinne was like, he did not say that. And she was just like, whatever. They all meet together in like the main area, main hall or something. And somebody comes in and they're trying to figure out who it is. They have on like a little mask, and they have a black robe, black hooded robe on. And everybody's like asking like yes or no questions to figure out who it was. Eventually they're like, child, we don't know. Take the damn hood off. And it was Danielle from Real Housewives of New Jersey. I guess she's a villain. Listen, I don't know that lady. The only housewife show I ever used to watch was Real Housewives of Atlanta, and child, I ain't watched that in years. So I couldn't tell you who no Danielle is. But apparently she's notorious on Real Housewives in New Jersey. And so after she said who she was, Anfisa was like, I still don't know who that lady is. I said, same, sis. Same. I still don't know who this lady is. So Danielle lets them know that they are about to start the next battle royale, and it is called Two-Faced. And so basically, they will all be wearing different masks, and they have like a voice distortion thing on, and they have on these black hooded robes. And the purpose of the challenge is for them to figure out each person's identity, and the villain who guesses the most correctly is the villain of the week. So they go out to like the pool area, and then they have like a bunch of extras that are there too to kind of throw them off. And so some of them, like Johnny Bananas, is like, I can pretty much pick up on who was who pretty easily just by like their body language and just kind of things that they say. Corinne said she felt pretty comfortable and confident because she can spot her friends out in a crowded room by just the shape of their head. Girl, shut up. And Omarosa just decided, child, I'm just going to throw this challenge because I don't want to win this challenge and have another target on my back and people feel like I'm too much of competition. So I'm just going to sit this one out and let somebody else win. And Bobby Light's child is just throwing a hissy fit the whole time, asking for a notepad, pieces of paper, just the most. So when it's all said and done, Johnny Bananas is the winner, and he is now our villain of the week. So New York, of course, is annoyed by this, and she's like, well, I already know I'm going up for elimination because he doesn't like me. No, girl, you're going up for elimination because you can't close your damn mouth, and you was making assumptions about something that just was not true, just making shit up. So New York is like, I know I'm going up for elimination. And so at the end of the night, everybody's kind of closing up and going. Danielle's just kind of hanging out, you know, the Real Housewife is just hanging out at the mansion. And so she sees Shake is eating, and she's like, hey, when you're done eating, can you give me a tour of the place? And Shake was like, okay, sure. He's giving her a tour of the place, and all the other villains are annoyed. And they're like, why is she walking through our house? Our house is a mess, and why is she here? And it is so late. I'm ready to go to bed. All this yapping. And I'm like, y'all are supposed to be villains. Like, if this is how y'all felt about it, why did none of y'all say, hey, sis, look, it is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been doing this all day. You can come back tomorrow and do a tour, or you can tour all you want, but I'm about to go get in the bed. So I'm about to cut this light off. Don't y'all cut it back on. Something. Instead of y'all whispering, and just a mess. And then Bobby was like, oh, Shake needs to go home. Because why is he giving her... Why Shake got to go home? Why Shake got to go home? But then come to find out, they got an issue with Shake because apparently Shake is messy. And he don't be keeping his stuff clean, honey. So it sounds like they just trying to find a reason to vote somebody else out. So the next morning, everybody's up. And now, mind you, Johnny Bananas and Corinne have been kind of flirty anyway. He's been trying to flirt with her and Anfisa, but Anfisa ain't checking for her. And Corinne is welcoming it, as y'all know. And so he goes down to the kitchen, and Corinne is like, hey, can I make you some coffee? Or I made you some coffee. Do you want me to cook you some breakfast? And Johnny is side-eyeing that. He like, you weren't saying all that before I was villain of the week. Like, I don't like how people are trying to change up now that I got a little bit of power. And he could be right on some level, but when it comes to Corinne, I think she just really like him, and she's not really doing this to try to keep her place safe in the house. I think she's just really checking for him. I don't know why. His big head ass, but she is. So Johnny's out by the pool area, and he's working out, and Anfisa goes out there, and they normally, from what we've seen so far, this is kind of part of their daily routine. And usually she kind of goes into her own space and works out. He goes to his own space and work out, and they really ain't talking like that. But then this particular day, Anfisa wants to work out with him, and she's trying to talk to him, trying to, not really being like flirty, but just maybe giving him a little bit more attention than she has been. And Johnny's just like, nah, I'm not feeling that, because any other time you're not really checking for me like that. Now all of a sudden, because I'm villain of the week, now you want to work out together and you want to do all this stuff. Get the fuck out of here. So Johnny ain't biting, okay? She trying to bait, but he ain't biting. And so later on, as y'all know, the villain of the week gets to pick 2 people to go to like the little prize, you know, that they have for winning the challenge. And Johnny picks Omarosa and Tanisha. And everybody's kind of surprised by that, but Johnny kind of feels like, of the 2, these are the 2 that I feel like I could maybe get some information out of. You know, I don't feel like I want Omarosa to be at the house, you know, trying to talk to people and trying to, you know, manipulate people. She's got the gift of gab, so I kind of want her here with me. So they go to the little outing, and it was cute. It was like a little picnic in the park, and they got to play with dogs. It was really cute. And so while they're there, Johnny kind of lets them know, like, he's definitely thinking about putting up Anfisa. And Omarosa was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. She was like, but when you announce it, I'll just act surprised. So he said he's definitely putting up Anfisa. And then he was like, and then... he said probably more than likely New York. He said if he puts up New York, and then he doesn't know who the next person is, but he really thinks he's going to try to blindside somebody to kind of keep it a little bit of drama going, you know, in the house. And so Tanisha's like, what's this blindside? And so Johnny was like, you know, well, it's when you make one person think that you're going to put them up for elimination, and you keep doing it up until it's time to announce who you're putting up, then you put up somebody else. So you blindside them. And Tanisha was like, oh, I ain't never heard of that. Girl, how ain't you heard of that? You just did that to Jax. You literally did that to Jax, his last elimination. You sat up here in this man's face and told him he was saved, you were not going to vote for him, and then you voted for him. Girl. Okay, Tanisha. maybe acting like she don't understand how to play the game. Maybe that's part of her strategy. But I was like, girl, you know what the hell blindsiding somebody is. Cut it out. So Omarosa, Tanisha, and Johnny Bananas get back to the house, and Johnny goes to his room and he finds a note under his pillow, basically threatening him. Like, I don't even remember what the note said, y'all, but it was like a little threatening note.
How stupid do you think the house is, Bananas? Everyone's about to turn on you.
And he's like, where'd this come from? Who wrote this? And so everybody's like, dun, dun, dun. Like, who wrote the note? Who wrote the note? And so Corinne is like, well, I can tell you I did not write this note. You know, I would never write a note like this to you. Like, if I'm going to write something, I'm going to sign my name on it. Like, it was not me. And so everybody's denying it, of course. And so Bobby Lights is like, I don't know, because I saw Corinne yesterday writing in a notepad that looked very similar to this same paper. So I don't know. I think it was her.
Corinne.
Oh my God.
She was jealous.
You're
You took that
fatal,
little
doing a fatal attraction.
In his confessional, he was like, I just lied. Like, but I like to stir up a little bit of trouble, you know, and kind of, you know, get people kind of mixed up in here. He's like, but I don't know if that girl did that now. I ain't seen nothing. Corinne is like devastated because Johnny basically is like, well, if you didn't do it, then you know who did it. And I just feel like you lying to me. I don't know who I can trust. And she's, you know, just crying, just looking a mess. Child, one of the producers called her a crying monkey.
I look like a sad monkey?
This show is insane. We go over to our boy Shake. Now, I don't know why this show or what this show was trying to do when it comes to Shake, but Shake overheard Bobby and Tanisha talking, or maybe it was Johnny. He overheard people talking about how messy he was and how he don't clean up and he's kind of gross. He took it upon himself to clean up their entire room that they shared together, and the bathroom and the closets. He was like, guys, I want to show you something. And he's like, look how clean everything is. Look at it.
One, check out this closet. Wow! Check out this closet. Smell it. Look at the counters.
Wait, who's this from?
And while he was like, I'm doing this because I don't want them to have any reason to want to send me home, y'all, listen. I hate it. I really be having a soft spot for people sometimes. And that moment really made me like, is Shake kind of okay? Is Shake okay? Like, is he an okay guy? Because so far in this show, he hasn't done anything to make me feel like he's an ass. Like, he's been okay. And in that moment, I was like, oh, look at Shake. Y'all, tell me if I'm being a sucker. I think I am. But I am buying it. Whatever he's trying to sell me, I am buying it. Double the price, okay? He's fooling me, I guess. But I thought that was so sweet. I said, he kind of growing on me. Damn you, House of Villains. And so we get to the little elimination room. Child, I forget what they call it, the lair or something. I think they call it the lair. I don't remember. That would make sense. So they get to elimination room. So the first name he calls, he didn't even call the first name.
There's a couple that are going to be a little more difficult than others.
You.
Okay, well, New York.
Well, New York, you already nominated yourself. She's like, whatever. All I know is you're not gonna get me out of here that easy and all this. I'm like, girl, you could have not been up for elimination at all if you wasn't acting so goddamn crazy. Shit. And so the second name that he calls is Anfisa, and he just basically tells her, you know, he don't like to switch up in attitude and how all of a sudden you want to be my friend, but you really wasn't checking for me. He don't really trust it. And so after Johnny calls Anfisa's name, Omarosa is like, what? So you gonna put on my roommate?
I will pretend to be shocked. Going after my roommate?
Sorry.
Omarosa, she's killing it in the show for me. And then lastly, Johnny is like, in the third person I'm gonna eliminate. It's somebody that I really thought I could trust. Up until today, I thought, you know, they had my back and all this stuff. But now I have this note that's written, and this person acts like they may or may not know who did it. And so I'm thinking, oh, he about to put up Bobby. And so Corinne is crying. Omarosa's consoling her. New York is like, all, you know, flabbergasted because everybody's thinking he's going to say Corinne. And so he's like, Corinne, it's not you. I'm putting up Bobby light.
Wait, what?
God, Omarosa and Tanisha so fake. They knew this was coming, but look how they acting. This show is crazy. And everybody's like, what? And I was like, I knew it. Because let me tell y'all, I feel like my theory is that Johnny Bananas is the one that wrote that damn note. I think he wrote that note, put it underneath his pillow, and then he wanted to come back to the house and see how people would react and what they would do when he wanted to find out who wrote this note. So I think he was trying to figure out who would turn on who's willing to lie, who's willing to do all this stuff. That's what I think happened with that note. And by Bobby lying on Corinne, he put a bullseye on his own back. And so Bobby was put on his little shades, let the games begin. Boy, hush. Because you've been playing the game since you got here. All this damn, I still can't get past that night. He was fake drunk in the room crying, talking about New York was fake, and they was up there talking about her. Boy, go to bed. Your ignorant ass. So our 3 villains up for elimination next week are New York, Anfisa, and Bobby. Who y'all think gonna go home? Now, I'm gonna be honest. This entire lineup, they not the strongest group, right? They not the strongest group. I think Anfisa might go home just because she's the quietest. And like, and like even during the elimination, Joel McHale is so shady. He was like,
Anfisa, is there anything you'd like to mumble in reply that we can barely hear?
y'all, when he said that, I was dying. And then she said whatever she had to say. He said, wow, that's the most I've ever heard you talk. This shady ass. I love him. Host every show, Joel. Host every show, host every reunion, host all the things, because he be shading these people in the funniest way possible. Maybe that's why his ass is the host of the show, because he's like the shadiest host notoriously around the world. Who knows? But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments below. Who y'all think is going home? Hopefully next week. We don't need another damn whole, I know we got to do the redemption challenge. We got to do that. That shouldn't take a whole episode plus some, and they have us with another damn clip. Y'all trying to stretch it out, child. I don't know why. So somebody better go home next week. I think Anfisa probably gonna go home next week, or the next time somebody go home. But y'all let me know your thoughts, who y'all think is gonna go home. And as always, y'all, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. The link to my Patreon is gonna be down below if you want to join the Patreon. I'm gonna see y'all next week for episode 4 of House of Villains.
Hey, look, I talk my shit and keep it honest, keep it independent. I hear them hating, but that's only cause they inconsistent. He said the weapon wouldn't prosper, now they wouldn't form.